Hi, welcome to part 1 of my review featuring Fight to Survive, role-playing martial arts meets heart. This RPG is quite interesting because at first glance I thought that it was going to be more like a Final Fight Streets of Rage type of experience, but this is closer to The Warriors, you know that cult classic film, The Warriors. There is no emphasis on martial arts there. Well, you could say that in order to survive in the streets, you need to develop a certain fighting style. But when it comes to the grittiness, I think it's closer to that, because Fight to Survive not only deals with the action scenes, let's put it like that, it also has to do with the physical and mental and emotional damage that your fighter can take during these life or death ordeals. Now let's talk about the quality of the PDF. The quality is amazing, superb. The illustrations are great. They are kind of like in the comic book and graphic novel style. You also have many old martial arts pictures, that is, featuring real martial arts scenes throughout the years. Everything is well written, explained, and organized. You have bookmarks, so it's going to be very easy to navigate this PDF. And the graphic design overall looks very neat, quite thematic, with these graffiti and bricked walls, communicating the street ambience of the game. So overall the quality is amazing. Now let's talk about the contents. As I started to go through the document, I immediately got quite curious about the experience of the author, James Kerr, because the way that he describes things, the way that he applies the mechanics, I thought this guy knows his way around the streets. And yes, the very brief glimpse that he shares with us of his own personal journey is very interesting and very much in tune with what is being expressed throughout this RPG rulebook. So, as a Mexican martial artist, I think that I connected in some level with some of the experiences that James shares with us. So you can pretty much tell that James really put his heart when it comes to designing this role-playing game. Okay, here we go. New Hope City belongs to the martial artists, all 20th century long. 100 years of punches. All those folks getting kicks from kicks, all for nothing. Prisoners to violence. Challengers prowling the streets. Everybody trying to be somebody tough. For what? Who will be there to crown you king of all street fighters? And who will be there when you are lying on the ground in a back alley, holding 3 broken ribs in place, blinking through a crushed orbital and trying to rest on a hip joint that will never set right? Nobody at all. All you have is yourself and your fists. What else is there? Make something of your name. Rise, martial artist. You are coming alive. Fight to Survive is a mundane and emotional game about tough and ferocious folks, where most situations are violent and usually end in sadness. Your character, your fighter, will get into fistfights and take on both injury and emotional hardship as a result of their violent lifestyle in low-stakes, high-emotion adventures of down-to-earth, urban try-and-die martial arts. To play this game, you need this rulebook, of course, a game master, 1 to 5 players. It is recommended that you handle a maximum of 5 players, not counting the game master. You also need your character sheets, of course, a mode of communication if you're not playing in person, a chat room, etc. And you don't need dice to play this game. This is a diceless system. Each game session in this RPG advances the in-game calendar by 1 to 3 years. While it is possible to hold on to a single-player character throughout most of the century, it is equally possible to go through a series of characters exploring the 20th century through a martial lineage. The weight of these rules are a firm medium in terms of their crunch and complexity. If we take the current iteration of the world's most popular RPG as being rules medium to heavy, In this role-playing game, there are no maps and no miniatures. However, you may want to refer to a map of New Hope City from time to time. The outcome of fights in this RPG is determined by comparing moves with certain moves trumping others, back and forth until there's a winner, kind of like rock, paper, scissors. As mentioned before, the system is diceless, with all other conflict resolution using a comparison of relevant numbers with the highest number winning. There are no hit points. Instead, harm and hardship, metrics that describe the lousiness of a player character's life, are governed by a complex series of checkboxes and brackets. If either of these meters are exceeded, the character exits the game. In this game, you have the concept of comforts. These are the people, places, and things a character seeks out to make them feel better. Keep in good with your comforts to make sure you can rely on them to reduce your hardship. This game is not a power fantasy. Stakes are personal and low. Fight to Survive runs on a vicious cycle of street fights and misery. The only way out is to die, go crazy, or pass on the cycle of violence to the next generation. Historical events relevant to the martial world are important, but Fight to Survive fiddles with the details. Events that actually happened across the continent, in New York, San Francisco, or Toronto, instead happen in the single fictional location of New Hope City, located wherever west. New Hope City acts as a kind of North America and Hong Kong, a tremendous hub of cultural diversity where all things intersect. Districts in New Hope City act as cultural and economic boundaries. This game is about a plethora of distinct cultural voices and backgrounds. The design goals of this RPG are also quite interesting. The author wanted a system about martial arts where the players didn't have to know martial arts in real life in order to play and enjoy it, but which would also give people who know martial arts the ability to make meaningful choices. This is a game where fighting feels like how getting into a fight really feels. This game does not seek to emulate reality, but rather to achieve a feeling of verisimilitude. So there are a number of potentially counterintuitive design decisions intended to get you into the fight headspace and give you choices indicative of the game's wider themes. So this game captures the melodramatic, emotional side of martial arts movies, mechanically speaking, relevant to a tabletop RPG experience. You also have a section detailing safety tools, because the themes in this game can get quite heavy. Maybe you will find them useful. You also have tips and advice on how to establish the tone, the feel of the game itself. And this concludes this part of the review. In the next part, we are going to talk about character creation. There are certain things that you can only experience as a martial artist, and I think a lot of people will enjoy the representation of martial arts in someone that is active when it comes to fighting with their body, with their mind, with their spirit. But for those of you that know martial arts, I think that you will be nodding to many things presented in this book. Thank you for watching this part of the review, and thank you for your likes and your comments. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. Once again, thank you, and see you later.